Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday to everyone. Let's have some fun tonight. Let's have some fun the rest of the week. Hey, Bill Woods, Papa G, Janet, Jeffrey, Erna. I think that's everybody I see on the top here. I'll get back to everyone. Yeah, guys, let's have some fun tonight. I'm going to say the pledge and talk to the kids, play the music. I want the kids to remember this video is not made for them. They can watch it under the discretion of their parents, grandparents, or legal guardians. The music we use tonight is not made for us. We have no legal rights to it. We use it as kind of a trademark to our show. And if I talk about anything financially, which I'm going to, you don't have to listen. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just someone giving you my opinion. So with that, let the show begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd work for all my life, and I had to start again, just my children and my wife. I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, where the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no town I love this land. God bless the USA. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, oh, from sea to shining sea. From Detroit down to Houston, and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say, oh, and I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I'd rather stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no town of this land. God bless the USA. Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless
God bless the USA. Proud to be an American. I am. I hope everybody else is. How's everyone doing tonight? We'll start out by talking to Jimmy. Hope everything's going good. I haven't heard from your dad now for almost a week. We was talking on a daily basis, and he disappeared, and I didn't see you post anything today. Uh, just hope everything's okay with the family. I know Gracie was going through some tough times, and your new 3 new brothers and your new sister. I hope everything's going good with the family, and Grandpa's doing well. Patriot 11, with your horseback riding, I'm sure you're doing that. Hello, Rosemary Sproul. How are you? It's good to see you here, Rosemary. I'm doing good. How are you doing? Karen's here. Joe Phillips, Tony, Betty Woods. Lots of new people since we played the music and said the pledge. But anyway, I was talking to a couple people the other day, and they started talking to me about they'd love to ride a horse. They'd love to ride horses. And when I told them my dream about buying a ranch, putting a very nice, I'm going to call it mansion. And it doesn't have to just be one family that comes and stay there. We're going to have staff, and it can be a year-long stay there. The only thing is to cover ourselves, we're going to have some rules and regulations. And I do also on the ranch want to have Patriot 11. I want to have a nice pond where we stock for fish, and who knows, maybe a really, really nice pool. That'd be nice. But then in the wintertime, when the fish pond in the swimming pool freezes, people can come and ice skate. Horses can still be ridden in the winter. I know because I watch Heartland. Maybe I should talk to Amy and see if she'd help us. The horse whisperer. Hey, Dean Hunt, good to see you. Rosie, you ain't been on for a while. It's good to see you on here tonight. Patriot Karate Kid and Patriot Wyatt Earp tonight. My grandson, Patriot Small Hank, he's helping promote his dojo, recruit new kids. And they got a special offer. I don't know what it was. I don't pay attention to that. They want to call it martial arts, and it's karate. And as Mr. Miyagi said, I always look high. Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Patriot Princess, our queen. And it's funny because we heard the other day that Patriot little Anya from the Ukraine, she wanted to be Patriot Princess. But then again, Patriot Xenia, he goes by Patriot 17, he wanted to be Patriot 11. So, it's amazing when the kids all start to think alike. Patriot Hunter, I hope everything's going good. Grandma needs to let me know if you play ball too, because I know our princess, the queen, is her favorite number 3. And I'd say my grandson, Patriot 7, is my favorite 7, but I had another grandchild that wore number 7 this year, so I can't be particular. Patriot Boogs, Boogaloo, Boogaroo, and Boogie. Grandpa John is always around you guys and always giving you all the love. And you guys, Boogs, you're growing up too fast. Boogie, it seems like you was just born and now look at you. Patriot Little Leona and Little Elan. 2 amazing little girls that, my opinion, was born to great names and also was born at the right time. Elaine, good to see you. Gary, good to see you. Cindy, all right. Glad to have you here. But I believe you was born at the right time because you may never live into some of the things that we live into. Patriot Super Gymnast. I finally got to see her. It was 2 weeks, but I finally got to see her on Monday. I might get to see her tomorrow. I got to go over and keep an eye on Patriot 7 and Patriot Little Gymnast as Super Gymnast gets to go get her new school clothes. Can you believe that my grandson starts school in less than 2 weeks Patriot Small Hank. In less than 2 weeks, he starts school. They're not going to have as long as a Christmas break as they normally do because they want them out because they're going to finish building the new grade school. It was worthless that they did it, but kids, you're seeing a perfect example. My grandkids are seeing a perfect example of how we waste money in this country. There was nothing wrong with the old grade school, just a little nick there. But oh no, the wannabes, people in Herscher, Illinois, that thinks they're so great and they think that their crap don't stink, kids. And you're going to run into a lot of people like that in your lifetime. They couldn't do that. We can't go and do something like that. We have to rebuild. We have to tear down many dreams, playgrounds, football fields, where we grew up as kids watching football games and playing football games. Thank goodness they didn't go out further into the practice baseball diamond where I always played. I'd have been real upset there. Because there's a memory, kids, of that baseball diamond out there. And kids, I was cocky when I was in high school. I thought there was nobody better in baseball than me. And most of the time there wasn't. And I'm not saying it to be cocky. But my coach looked at me and said, "You think you're a good hitter?" I said, "No, sir." He said, "Well, you act like you do." And I said, "Well, you didn't ask that question. You asked, do I think? I don't think I know I'm a good hitter." So good that he intentionally walked the bases loaded the year I made the team and pitched to me. And I hit a grand slam. And as I'm rounding third, they still hadn't picked the ball up yet. There was no fence. And they were still tracing it. It went over the goalpost. The goalpost they're going to tear down now. Or when I was in high school, our guys played football. They're tearing so many memories down. But see, people in this town don't care about the kids. All they care about is prestige. So anyway, when I thought I was a good hitter, he said, "I'll show you a good hitter." And he got up there. And here's my coach, brash as heck, and he hit a ball. I tell you what, it went out of any major league park. He went over the fence in the right field because there was a fence there. And it hit the house. And then he had the guts. The man was in the yard. And he looked at me and pointed at me and said, "He did it. He did it." And I apologized. From then on, I knew we were going to be friends. And unfortunately, kids, we lost him. And I do want to also take a moment since I've finished with the kids. I want to take a moment to pay remembrance of this. But remember, kids, remember, this is not a video made for you. You can watch it if your parents, legal guardians, or someone, your grandparents, say it's okay. Again, we have no legal rights to the music. We play it because it's our theme song. And if I talk about money, I am not a financial advisor. I'm just talking. Who we talking about? Janet, who received their military tribunal long ago. So anyway, I do want to take a moment, and I've talked about my coach who passed away, in my mind, way too early. But also last night I was on Google and I seen that Ron Williamson, my 7th and 8th grade English teacher. And guys, anybody that knows me, and maybe you can tell by the way I talk, I did not like English. I knew how to speak it. I learned definitions. I used to pass English because every week they would have a spelling thing. And you had to learn the definition of the word and you had to learn to spell the word. And you could get 2 A's if you got everything right. And I always got my 2 A's because it kept my grade up there. So I got my C's. Every now and then I'd get a B. Sometimes I'd get a D. But I did not like English. But that man, as rough as he tried to make people believe he wasn't. And when I read last night that this man had passed away, I want to give my condolence to the Williamsons family. He was a good teacher, and he became a better person the older he got because he wasn't a brash young teacher. He was turned into a senior teacher that really had a love for kids. And I tell you, when I was in 7th grade, If I'd have thought about him dying, I wouldn't even have blinked him die. And now when I read the obituary last night, I really felt sorry. Because see, this is another person that could live a long, long life if they would just release something. And we all know what that is. And today, everyone, I was on JFK site. And someone made the statement, how do I go about booking an appointment for the special beds? And I told you there's this one lady there. I'm not going to mention names because they've asked me not to mention names on this site. You can mention senior's name, but that's it. But the person was wanting to know how they go about booking, where they can go to book. And the lady answered, she says, there is no special beds available yet to the public in the United States. And I'm going to say two things about that. One, I was happy she said it, and I even went in and said, plus if anybody contacts anybody here or anybody you know and tells you they can get you on a special bed, and I didn't have to call it special bed on that site, they know anyone who they're trying to get to pay to do it, tell them it is a scam. Special beds are free, and they always will be. They'll be free. And I was thankful for that. And it's a great site on Telegram to go and just hang out and just read what people say. Hi, Cheryl. So I just wanted to talk about that and give my regards to their families. Guys, in the past, what I want to talk about now. In the past, I've had a tendency that there's a man out there doing shows twice a week, Tuesday and Thursday. I followed him for 15 years or more. He was kind of someone who, at the time, I thought, hey, I want to do shows. I didn't want to do them like him because I didn't want to use my influence. I mean, guys, you know, Elaine used to be on here regularly, and there was two Elaines, but the one, she was on here and she got working with me. May I say she ran things through me because she did all the work, and she put together a really good program of what we need to do to go to the Redemption Center. She put it together from the information that she was giving out. Not because she's been to a Redemption Center, she hasn't. But we give these away free of charge to anyone who wanted them. And many, many people took them. And to this day, One Voice and Jeffrey and Myrna, to this day, I'm still getting thank yous from people. But on this show, it's called depends on who you're talking to. Marianne likes to call it the small call. But it's called the big call. And I've been ripping him because it seems to me like he cares more about making money with his two sidekicks. I would call them the Three Stooges, but I was a huge Three Stooges fan, and I still am. And it's an insult to them. But anyway, I've been ripping them. But last night, guys, I'm going to say this. If you have not listened to Bruce and the Big Call last night, do it. Bruce talked a lot of good stuff. Only 10 minutes and 8 seconds. And I understand it still. When Sue finished, he talked about Sue's program. When Bob finished, he talked about Bob's program. When he finished, he went back and talked about Sue's program. And I understand that Sue and Bob's program, he talked longer than he did the show. But he had a good show. It was not just coming out there and just putting crap on the table. Afraid you're going to get some on your hands, and now you got to go wash your hands. And he's telling us, I'm going to read what he had to say because I really believe it was a good show. As a matter of fact, so much so, when Ron called me last night, a little after midnight or 12:30 or so, we always talk before we go to bed. And when he called, he said, have you listened to it? And I said, yes. I wanted to get back and listen to it again, but after he got off the phone, I fell asleep. We're very close on this thing. We have 3 days left in the month. Today we heard from lots of sources that are dried up, but we heard from a couple of sources that are very reliable stated redemption center leaders are contacted and told they are to go in to the redemption center before noon on Thursday and to continue on Thursday and continue on a schedule to a 21-day, including Sundays. This is for exchanges to be taking place for ZIM and currencies at the redemption centers, which use toll-free numbers to set up appointments for centers close to your zip code. What we are hearing is we have some info that say we will be able to exchange starting as early as Friday. And it appears it could be as early as Thursday afternoon or Friday. We have also heard from a bond paymaster that should be distributing funds to paymasters accounts on Friday and then the bondholder accounts on Saturday. Will they do this for us the last 2 days of the month or do the 1st of August or do it on the 1st of August? We heard this info, and I cannot tell you the source, which persons don't give up their sources. But what I found interesting from unconfirmed intel, unproven, supposedly, the banks are not ready. Understand what he said. The banks are not ready, and they will not be ready for at least till the August 21st or 22nd. The banks may not be ready August 21st or 22nd yet, but redemption centers are ready as of July 30th and go 21 days, which would take them to the 20th. Now think of this, guys. The redemption centers are ready to go starting either Thursday or Friday. 21 days takes us to the 20th. If the banks are not ready to go to the 21st or 22nd, what they're doing is they're wanting to get the redemption people out of the way. Then you will have a choice to go to the bank or the redemption center. I'm going to choose if you just got any currency at all. If you got dinar, I'm suggesting you get to the nearest redemption center. Why? What has the bank done for you your whole life? Carrie and John and Jeffrey and who else we got? Janet. What have banks done for us our whole life but charge us ungodly interest? They've stolen from us. They make us pay money on our own money. They use our money to get richer and richer. So why would you want to promote a bank? When? And even if you don't have ZIM and you just go in when the ZIM holders are done, if you go in, look at them and say, I want the contract rate. I want the best rate on the dinar. Now listen, me and Ron have 17 different kinds of currencies. We have ZIM bonds, more than trillions. We have yellow dragon bonds and purple dragon bonds. Yellow dragon bonds, we have so many that it's pathetic. And I'm not bragging, I'm just telling you. But the fact is, if I didn't have the bonds and I was just a regular person going in, I would go to a redemption center because they say if you go to a bank, you're going to get between $4 and $4.50, maybe $5 for your Iraqi dinar. You're going to get the regular price. You might even get a little higher at a redemption center for the dong and even the bolivar. I don't know, but the dong is definite. At a bank, they're going to give you $4 to $4.50 or $5. So let's take the middle one, $4.50, because when I first bought our dinar, we wanted $4.50. It would give us a certain amount, which me and my two brothers, Ron and my brother Russ, would have split, and we would have got our inheritance back that someone stole from us. But that's water under the bridge, guys. What I'm saying here, if you got $1 million dinar, or like, okay, I'm going to tell you, Ron and me have 200,000 dinar. We don't have a lot. We have a lot of other stuff, but the dinar, we only have 200,000 because I would rather go out and buy millions of dong than try to buy a million dinar and not get any dong at all. But what I'm saying is at the redemption center, if you ask for the contract rate, they won't do it at a bank. They're just going to give you the rate that's on the screen, which is going to be between $4 and $5. But at the redemption center, they're saying right now it's listed to go anywhere from $10 to $15. So let's split the difference. Let's go $12.50. At bank you get $450. I got 200,000. That's 900,000. I go to the redemption center. We split the difference, and I get $12.50. That's 2.5 million. What do you want? Do you want 1.6 million just on 200,000? Imagine if you've got a million of these. You get 4.5 million, which there's nothing to sneeze about. And if you feel comfortable going to a bank and you like your bank, go and support them. But if you go to the redemption center, you can get 12,500,000. It's a no-brainer to me, but it's me. I'm just giving you the facts that are coming out. I wanted to prove this before the call about the 21 days, but I didn't have time. So it should start Thursday or Friday of this week. Rates are populating on screens in the last 2 days. And today there was nothing there. There's nothing on the screen yesterday, according to Bruce. There are 51 current currencies on the screen. There is no second and third basket. It will be one time and one time only. Other Intel type info, we may have a memorandum of understanding with Iran. They say that Iran is supposed to sign a paper, and it should be signed by Friday, which will give us what we need to move forward. Hoping we can get a deal done with Zelensky and Russia when they come to the funeral, and President the Hat will be speaking with them. We want Cuba to change their form of government to get out of communism, which is looking like, with everyone else doing what we're doing, they are going to oblige. We have cleanup in all aisles, a lot of cleanup in the aisles, ending wars, getting people to do what they need to do, getting the revaluation done. Bruce is hoping and believing that we need to get those numbers tomorrow or by Thursday morning and begin exchanges. Hopefully we will have the above confirmed by Thursday night, and maybe we will have our numbers by then. Now, what I'm saying here is what Bruce said. Did it get me excited? I think you can hear it in my voice. It got me excited. Am I happy? Yes, I am. Because for the first time in a long time, somebody that I looked up to when I started doing this, someone that I followed, they came out and they literally give good news. They didn't worry for 10 minutes and 8 seconds. They did not worry about what was being said, how it was being said, and what it was being said for. It just said that this is what we're doing. Hello, Robert. How are you doing tonight? Gary, I think I've said hi to you. Papa G, I know I've said hi to you. It's good to see everyone. So that takes care of Bruce's, but I still say, if you're not a member of our Telegram site, because you can get Bruce's link, if you're not a member, get a message to me, and Ron and me will work together, because Ron has it ready to go. We will send it to Messenger if you want to send it your email. But just listen to it, but try to do it ASAP and listen to it before tomorrow night. Because right now I'm very excited about Bruce's news. I'm very excited about other people coming out and saying, yes, we're right there. We're so close. We can taste it. I'm excited about hearing a lot of people say, and especially on JFK's channel, saying they want this started before the end of the month. Yes, we're going to have to sign probably a 90-day NDA. So what? My feelings is, other than Ron, a lot of my family, other than my daughter, my grandkids, my son who lives with me on occasion, Other than that, my family don't associate with me. We don't have another holiday until Labor Day. And Labor Day, we just go to the parade. We come home. I go down and have a few beers. Hopefully, Ron will go with me this year. Hopefully, we'll be on the beds because, guys, when you say your prayers every night, don't pray for the money. The money will be here. Pray for the beds. And I'm telling you, when I was on JFK's channel today, and they said, I like this lady, but when she said on the channel, the beds have not been released to the public. But then we know certain people who are not supposed to be here are here. Right now, until they pull the switch, until they make the change, right now, people like us are being treated the same way we were with the cabal. I went into Kankakee yesterday. I needed to go and get a few groceries. And when I went in there, gas is $4.34 a gallon. And I'm thinking, I have watched my president stand in front of his people that he's supposed to love. And he says, well, we'd have no more taxes on tips. We have no more taxes on overtime. Senior citizens don't get tips. Senior citizens don't do the other thing. When are you going to, Mr. President, do something for the people that you promised, the people that helped you get elected? When are you going to do something for us? Because quite frankly, I love the man, and I know he's the right man for the job. But quite frankly, Cindy, I am getting sick and tired of being sick and tired. And when I mentioned Cindy's name, I did it for a reason, because Cindy needs the beds. She's having some health issue. I mentioned Michael the other night in his tidy whities doing meetings with us. Now Michael is in a nursing home. The next door neighbor to Ron that he has lived in, he's never lived in any other house, but he was taken away and put in a nursing home because you couldn't handle him. He got too big, and he needs the beds. And I keep promising these people. I was looking at a little girl the other day that is getting ready to maybe go in. She is a 16-year-old girl, and she's getting ready to go in for her 17th surgery. Surgery that if she gets on these beds, how do you pick what kids are allowed to get on and what kids? How do you say this kid is more important than this kid? How do you say this man is more important than this man? My brother-in-law lost his life to cancer because they sat on the damn beds and didn't bring them to us. And when I talk about this subject, I get compassion. I get compassion. My ex-English teacher died. Why? Because the beds weren't released. I made promises that they're coming. I seen a young man the other day. He's the only reason he's alive because he believed in working out and staying in shape when he was young. And then he had an accident and lost his arm. He should have lost his life, the accident, but he was strong. But he has lived now for the last 20 years. And every time he sees me, he says, I thought you told me you was going to get me on these beds and I was going to get my arm grown back. I'm tired of people questioning me because I'm telling them everything we know, David Duffy and Papa G. Papa G, do you feel the same way? Do you not believe we need to bet? The money will come, the money will go. It doesn't matter. I don't care if they give me $10 trillion. It doesn't matter how much money I got. If I don't get on the bed, my days are limited. If I get on the bed, I can live long, long. I can do humanitarian projects. They want us to put humanitarian projects together at 72 years old. How many years do you want to do them? Well, are you going to let me get on the beds? If not, maybe 7 or 8. People who tell me this is what you have to do. No, this is what you think we have to do. All I'm saying, when you go to the Redemption Center, just go, wear clean clothes, be courteous, and you're going to go through different stages, and they're going to be there to walk you through. They're not there to cut you down. They're not there to steal your money. They're there to help you, because we're finally getting to an age in our life where people are ready to have the greatest transformation of wealth in the history of the world. Folks, the news is becoming more and more positive that when we receive our notifications prior to month's end, and will be liquid early next month. So continue to say your prayers. God bless. That come from Texas Snake. Here's a machine. Here's something about a machine. And it says, Amen. It's already here. That's right. This is the clear explanation and definition of that machine, just as we've been expecting. This wonderful thing, the future means of grace. It's called the POS, all in capital letters, / capital TOUCH, POS Touch, QFS machine. This is a simple device that will link your national PHILSYSID, PhilSys, National Identification System with a quantum financial system. How to use it? Simply tap your ID on the marked spot on the machine or scan the QR code. Automatically view your dedicated funds, monthly allowances, and then use them all for all your needs. No cash needed, no carrying cash, no coins, no paper money, no fees, no percentages, no deductions. The amount you see is entirely yours. What does it display? Confirmation that your national ID is the only key. No other cards needed, and no need to create accounts with others. Proof that the system is already everywhere is linked to the allocated funds from QFS, NESARA, and GESARA. Can be used at stores, hospitals, school bus stops, and public services, clean water, electricity, medicine, and free transportation once the system is fully operational. Safety warning. This is the official system and requires no payment. If you see someone asking for money to activate the machine or your ID, don't believe them. Only your ID number and QR code are needed. Do not provide full personal information or ID photos to anyone. Just keep your key safe. When EBS launches right after the announcement, the system will be activated automatically and fully functional immediately, just a few days away. Message to share with everyone. Family, the machine is here. Just a light tap with your national ID, enough to access the grace of QFS. It shows everything is ready. We're just waiting for the official announcement on EBS. Don't worry, the team is complete. The key is perfected, and soon we'll be using it every day. Amen, amen, amen. Just a few more days, brothers and sisters, and we'll see how it works. Together, those who are prepared will surely receive grace in peace. Then it has a picture of it, which naturally has to go off once I try to show you. That's a picture of what it looks like. I really liked reading that article, and I read it to myself earlier. I really liked it. And usually I'm not a person that reads something twice, but, David and Janet, Gary, John, Dean Hunt, Larry Smith, sometimes you have to read things twice. Nikola Tesla built the first special bed. In 1898, they buried it for 128 years. In 1898, Nikola Tesla filed patents for what he called an electroparatheutic apparatus. It used high frequencies, oscillating currents to penetrate human tissue without contact. No wires touching the body, no chemicals, no surgery. Tesla demonstrated publicly that specific electromagnetic frequencies could increase cellular energy production, destroy pathogenic organisms without harming healthy tissue, accelerate wound healing by 300%, restore neurological function in damaged nerves. He wrote in his personal notes, if you could eliminate certain outside frequencies that interfered with our bodies, we would have greater resistance towards disease. He understood in 1898 what modern quantum biology is only confirming, that the human body is an electromagnetic system and disease is a frequency problem, not a chemical one. What happened to this medical research? After Tesla's death in 1943, the FBI seized 80 trunks of his documents. The Office of Alien Property, a wartime agency with no medical jurisdiction, classified everything. His electro-therapeutic research was never released to the public. The same year penicillin entered mass production, the pharmaceutical era officially began. Tesla's frequently based approach was buried beneath a trillion-dollar chemical industry that needed you to believe healing required their products. 128 years later, the technology Tesla envisioned is the only real. It is not only real, it's operational. The Special Beds Network uses the same foundational principles he discovered. Coherent electromagnetic fields collaborated to the human body, natural resonant frequencies. Tesla did not fail. He was silenced. The silence is over. As I said, I really like that one. The gold-backed currency, BRICS, launched. The dollar is dead. 847 trillion in fraudulent debt erased. The global financial reset is live. 26 July 2026 at 0847 hours. UTC India declared the BRICS unity currency, supported by 22,847 metric tons of gold. Operation code, Operation Currency Liberation 0726. The Fed is in panic mode. The activation, BRICS nations complete final gold audit, holding verified by all 209 countries, total 22,847 metric tons of pure gold, the biggest gold reserve ever assembled. The deep state's fiat currency system is over. The fall, dollar fell 47% in 72 hours. BlackRock and Vanguard are both getting sold at the same time. The stock market is going down the tubes. This is financial eclipse that deep state tried to stop. The new system, BRICS unity currency, is now world standard. 1 unit equals precisely 1 gram of gold. No infiltration, no manipulation, no central bank. Trump on July 24th authorized the U.S. to transition to gold standard. Treasury is turning 4.2 trillion of assets into physical gold. America is moving into the new system. The operation codes, Operation Currency equals Liberation. 0726 equals BRICX launch. Operation / dollar collapse intimate equals currency death. Operation Gold Standard D / activation equals new system. Protocol equals 22,847 metric tons of gold. Verification code 08-47. UTC equals activation timestamp. The timeless, July 22nd, BRICS completes gold audit, fact check. July 24th, IHAT approves gold standard, approved. July 26th, unity currency now. July 27th, dollar officially abandoned, intimate. July 28th, global financial reset, locked in. So what does this mean? The 4B holders become billionaires instantly. Currency revaluation rates start. The wealth transfer is underway. The deep state 100 years control is broken. The old banking families are done. Their fiat money is useless. Their debt is canceled. They are powerless. The witness, one federal economist went dark. She has internal memos. She has audit reports in gold. She has proof that the Fed knew about BRICS 18 months ago and did nothing. She's under protective custody. Her testimony will kill the Fed. Operation slash currency slash liberation 0726 activated. BRICS unity currency equals live dollar system dead. Gold standard engaged. When your bank account is updated with the new currency, you'll know real. The old system is over. Prosperity, the new age. Can you imagine if you take the amount of gold that they said, the 22,000 whatever tons, and you take that times the price of gold for 1 ounce. How many ounces is in 22,000 tons of gold? Man, I could usually figure something like that in my head. I'm not even going to try Bill Woods, Joseph, Larry, Jeffrey. Not even going to try David Duffy and Papa G. Yabba dabba doo. There you go. Yabba dabba doo. Papa G's being Freud Flintstone. Guys, everything I'm telling you here tonight, I think you can hear it in my voice. I'm getting hoarse because I'm so excited. Because I've been excited all day long. Actually, when I listened to Bruce, I was expecting, here we go again, another Bruce, but Bruce was really good. You know, Wolverine constantly comes on. He keeps saying the same thing over and over. It's going to happen. I'm not going to get on someone for saying the same thing over and over because we need it. We need to keep building our vibrations. And that's when I get upset when someone comes in and says something, what I like to say, stupid. I would use a phrase from a movie, but I will not use this man in any of my videos. I will not say anything about him. His name might have had something to do with trees, and he might have been a lump or something like that. You know who I'm talking about, but I will never mention this man's name on my show because this man was the root of all evil. When you find out what he did, when you find out what other people do, The Rock, who I thought was supposed to be good, coming on the other day and saying what he said about children, there should have been no interview right then and way. That man should be pulled away, and he probably has, because someone said earlier, and I didn't catch what it was about, but he was tried in GITMO long ago. He had his tribunal. Guys, we're about not only to see the greatest transfer in the world, in the history of the world, we're about ready to see the greatest transfer of people taking off their mask. You know, we all know who they say is the man in Florida, DeSantis. We all know what they're saying about other people. The masks are about ready to come off. It is going to be such a shock to the people that their eyes are closed. So I'm telling you right now, Bill Woods and Jeffrey and Joseph, I'm telling you right now, Janet and Papa G and everybody here, it's going to be our responsibility to stand there. People are going to look. I'll tell you, there is going to be a woman that's a singer. And I don't care for her singing to begin with, but my niece loves her. And I know I got to put everything aside and I got to be strong for her because at her age and the way she feels about this singer, when she finds out what she does, when she finds out this, it's going to hurt her bad. That's why we have to be able to step in. This ending is not going to be for everybody. It's not. There's going to be some people that will not admit it and they will not accept it. So they go and they leave. It's their choice. But every person has to understand. And I know people that said, I don't want to get on that bed. I'm ready to go anytime. And his granddaughter said, really? You'd be willing to leave me? Well, I want to stay here long enough. I want to stay here long enough so I can at least see you walk down the aisle and get married. She's only 16 years old. And I looked and I said, really? You just want to see her get married? You don't want to see her, you don't want to see her kids? You don't want to see your great grandkids? I said, see, the whole thing is you can give up and you can go. But I hope that I can reach your family and they decide they want to stay because we're about ready to live in a world, John and David and Janet, we're about ready to live in a world that we've only dreamed of. And it's there. It's so close. And as the movie The Little Giants go, the movie The Little Giants only have to do it one time. One time. We've wiped away pretty much all the scumbags on the earth. We've rescued pretty much all of the children. What is left to do? What is left to do is the right thing and put our world the way God has always, always wanted it. Oh, I was looking for my next thing I was going to read. I forgot it was on Telegram when I had to read that last article. Here's something that I think it was Ron sent me a little bit ago. I'm going to read it from Richard somebody to Richard somebody. I could make a joke there, but I think you guys know what it's going to be. I got to get the... Okay. Confidential. Just got news. Things are looking up. Trigger's supposed to start tomorrow, but only partial payment until Clarity Act is passed. That's 25% of the 1% to be made up with past legislation. If Clarity Act passes on Monday, August 3rd, then full payment will be made. Just in, SEC says it is ready to create crypto rules. Congress fails to pass the Clarity Act. I believe that 4547 is literally going to have to go in and use some kind of power that he has to put the Clarity Act through. There's Republicans that are not understanding what this is going to do to the world. And there's Democrats that are just too stupid. And once again, I could use a word from this guy from this movie, but like I said, I'll never mention his name. Guys, this is going to get done, and it's going to get done. And as this girl that I used to tussle with, it's going to get gooder. It's going to get a whole lot gooder. Are we disappointed? I am. Should we get more? Yes, we should. But when it happens, that glorious day, it's just like with me and Julia. We've been writing letters for 7 years. For about 4 years, we've been wanting her to come over, but we just don't have the income. Plus, she couldn't leave because of the war. But as I told her, Julia, it only has to happen once. And our letters here lately have been a lot better because we understand we're that close. I'm a firm believer that the war in her country and the war in the other country is over. And that's what I keep preaching to her. And I keep seeing where it is. But they're waiting to end Iran, get a couple of other things done, because 4547, to my knowledge, wants to be the final masterpiece that is taken care of. For those who don't like him, why? I get upset with him, and I showed my upsetness earlier tonight because I think he could at least have us on the beds. If we could get the people on the beds even without money, and you know, why are we without money? He brags about the tariffs. Trillions of dollars have come in with tariffs. But has anybody seen $1? No. Elon Musk has disappeared like my lunch today. It's probably been flushed the same place as my lunch today. But why can't we at least get on the beds and get our health? Me and Ron discuss every day. The money is going to be great. Getting the things we want and doing the things we want to do is going to be great. But none of it's going to be great if we don't get on the beds. For Michael, for the people, this little girl that is 16 years old and is getting ready to go into her 17th operation. A cousin of mine who's 51 or 52 years old. And when I seen her born, she was preemie. She is the smallest baby. She has had nothing but a miserable life. She's not had the happiness. She never could grow up as a normal kid because she wasn't normal. She never went to school because the kids made fun of her. They didn't have the type of schooling back then that they have now, that teachers would actually help kids like this. But yet she's turned into a pretty smart kid. And I call her kid. I was the best man in her mom and dad's wedding, and I was the first one in the whole family and that to go see her when she was premature. And I sat with my cousin as his little daughter. We didn't know it was going to make it. And guys, if you've ever had a baby, whether it's your daughter, your granddaughter, or anybody in the family, a little baby, and they're fighting for their life, because I went through it 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago. It's hard to believe that my little monkey will be 4 years old in December. But where's the time gone? As I said, where's all the soldiers gone? Where is all everything gone? That song makes perfect sense. And it was sung at a time where we needed something like that. We're living in the greatest time. We're going to have the greatest transformation of wealth ever in the history of the world. Let's take a close look at what Judy has to say, and then we'll put a end to this popcorn show. Restored Republic via GCR as of July 29, 2026 by none other than Judy Bidington. Judy says, her disclaimer, what I report, beware. Please beware. Do your own research. The articles I read, the information I do, I double check. But for you, for your safety, if you don't want to believe in what I'm writing, go ahead and do your own research. I encourage you to do your own research and make up your own mind as what is happening in this great war of God against evil. Restored Republic via the GCR update as of Wednesday, 29 July, 2026. Therapist, RET, journalist, author, 22 Faces Inside the Extraordinary Life of Jenny Hill, and every penny she makes goes to Save the Children and expose their horrendous SRA so rampant in our society. Donations welcome at, and you can do worldwide EBS activation, internet radio, internet TV, radio, phone, communications could be interrupted. The biggest corruption takedown in U.S. history is happening right now as 300,000 federal indictments were being served. Then they want you to sing the battle hymn of the Republic. If freedom of speech is taken away, then dumb and silent may be led like sheep to slaughter. Judy note today, Mr. Poole on Telegram said it best. The veil is finally tearing apart. It is a fall of Babylon, the great unmasking. What began with exposure of the medical matrix during 2019 pandemic and the unmasking of the Vatican, Wuhan / Silk Road Serpent Network is now reaching its ultimate climax. The final stronghold of the cabal is crumbling from within. Look closer at the machinery that has enslaved humans' consciousness for millennia. It was never about nations' borders or political parties. It was always has been spiritual and energetic warfare waged at the Khazarian Mountain and their puppet masters. The final financial chokehold, the 1913 Federal Reserve and the City of London act as twin beating hearts of global debt slavery, funneling trillions into black budget operations, underground military bases. The media monopoly, the 6 major corporate media conglomerates are entirely run by CIA, Mossad, Assad. Their sole directive is to project low-frequency fear, keeping humanity trapped in loops of helplessness, division of artificial secrecy. The dominoes are falling. Every major historical event of the last 2 centuries was scripted by the same hidden hand to centralize power. The Titanic, 1912, not an accident, but a strategic elimination of prominent opponents to the creation of the Federal Reserve. The Bolshevik Revolution, 1917, funded entirely by Wall Street bankers to overthrow Russian Caesar and establish a totalitarian template for global control. The Great Awakening cannot be stopped. The deep state operators are in a state of absolute panic. Their panic is visible in every desperate mainstream media narrative, every forced digital ID push, and every engineered crisis designed to distract the mansion. They are concerned the Vatican financial records are open. Well, we know that. The emergency broadcast system, EBS, will soon sound off worldwide in 22 different languages. We're the final stage of the Great Awakening. Trust the plan. A green light has been given for all global military alliance forces to commence the largest cleanup operation ever deployed on Earth. Their mission was to remove all harmful entities from position of power and influence from the Earth mass arrest of all beings that harm humanity was imminent. By Tuesday evening, 28th July 2026, Delta forces have been deployed to every corner of the Earth. Remove all cabal leaders from the face of the planet. This major offensive was designed to last 7 days. During that time, all internet and phone communications across the world could be or would be interrupted. Over the coming days, the final remnants of the evil ones and their secret underground bases would be cleared. The earth will emerge into a new era, freedom and peace. On Monday, July 22nd, 2026, a HAT Global Military Alliance activated. Their priority was NETANYAHU, who was erased in a silent operation. At the same time, U.S. tanks rolled into D.C. streets, vaporized deep state hideouts. Meanwhile, the HAT headed to Israel to take command of the Temple Mount. On Tuesday, 28 July, there were unexplained airspace restrictions and rerouting of commercial flights over specific maritime and popular corridors. The Global Alliance was transporting high priority assets, extractions, and securing subterranean vault entrances. There were also 3 to 5 minute power flickers. Additional, there was a sudden influx of test alerts on mobile devices, radio channels, and digital billboards. Dozens of high-profile CEOs, tech directors, and central bank officials were suddenly stepping down for personal reasons. We know what them are. Worldwide banks held trillions in fiat currency, were losing control of their collection on so-called debts, was erased. The money also belonged to the people. The people were taking it back. A new global back financial system was rising. I'm not going to read this because it's about the elections. And the rest of it is pretty much everything I've already read. Guys, it was a very informative meeting tonight. I'm sure I'll get some hashback from people. Jeffrey and David, I know you won't. Jerry Wells, people here won't. But there will be some people that will write me and tell me to quit doing what I'm doing. But see, my commitment to what I'm doing has nothing to do with everyone here. It has nothing to do with anybody else. It has my commitment that when I did my very first show, I told God if I could touch one person, I would never quit until the very end, until we had what we wanted, until the people were ready to go and was taught what they need to know. I do the best I can to do and help you guys. And with that, dear Lord, as we come to the end of tonight's show, please look after the Williamsons family as they've lost their loved one. He was a great teacher, and his laugh, I never liked it at first, but the more and longer I got to know him, I understood that inside that big bully that he thought he was in the English class, he was just a little kid. But he was a great teacher, and so many people right now in our area are sad at the loss of him. He lived a long, very good life with an amazing wife who loved him and a couple of great kids. But look after them, Lord. He's now with his buddy, my ex-coach, and they're now in heaven together. And you have them, and you have 2 great people there. Lord, look after all the people here and all the children. Get us to get to this point in life, Lord, where we're looking for. It only happens once. It only needs to happen once, one time. And when it happens, it's going to be all, we're going to give you all the grace and glory, Lord, as we turn your world into what you've always wanted. When the people are finally freed, just like you freed Moses many, many years ago, Lord, and we come to you, talk to you, and pray to you through our Savior, your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen and amen. Good night, everyone. We'll see you Friday night. Have a great day. Keep your vibrations up. If you've got any questions, get in touch with me, Ron, or someone of the leaders here. We're here to help. We're just all of us together as a family. Good night. God bless. And we love you all.